We're just manning the panel right now.
Okay.
But I think recording should be okay.
Okay, thank you, Jared. K15, 9:15 p.m. So I guess.
Hall number 6. Yeah, can see.
Thank you. Do I need a chop? No. Thank you. 10 minutes past 8. Is it happening now? No idea. Life. Never heard of it, but the girl looks Ferguson, what? Hall 6 if I'm not mistaken. Quite sleepy too. Hopefully the major will wake me up. Is there a Richard around here? Oh, the first 50 will get a poster. Shit. Am I too late for the poster? Is it here? Number 6. Oh shit, it's happening now.
Okay.
I thought it's more than that.
So I got a poster here. Awesome. Not many people around, strangely enough. Let's get to the front. Sorry. K15. I had to crane my neck. Holy shit. That's very front. K15. Yep, this is the one.
Okay, so that's Navin. Say hi. Alright. So on my far left is possibly also a familiar face, Ian McNally. He writes for the Geek, covering films, comic books, sci-fi, and geeky stuff. He also appears as a guest with Uma on At the Movies. And, you know, I think you also see him at other panels if he's invited. We like to do this more, okay? And I think there's also things we must talk about, you know, some Marvel stuff or sci-fi stuff someday. Okay. The other people are not here, right? Okay, so we can say that. So let's just say, could each of you just share a bit of your experience with Ghost in the Shell and how maybe it has affected your outlook on life? So deep and meaningful. Anyway,
yeah, sure.
Hello.
Okay, it works. I think like possibly all of us in this room, we probably watched Ghost in the Shell. I watched Ghost in the Shell when I was probably too young to watch Ghost in the Shell. Right? Yeah. And my copy of the VHS was from Petaling Street. That's where I used to get all my anime.
You all still know what VHS is, right?
Yes, I know what VHS is.
Betamax? Oh, never mind. Let's not get into that. Sorry.
And yeah, and unfortunately my first experience of it was the dubbed version. Yeah, and you know, they redubbed it. And I think the original dub, if I'm not mistaken, I remember it being absolutely awful. The dubbing. And recently, before the launch of this film, I watched it again. Not the version 2, they basically updated graphics and all the original one. And I think they got a more mainstream cast to redub it because it suddenly sounded a lot more bearable than when I remember watching it as a kid. And yeah, no, I think for me there were two, right? Akira and Ghost in the Shell, one of these seminal ones that everyone in your school will talk about because somehow they came across the video. And I'm not going to
that's Vanessa. There's Vanessa, the cosplayer.
But it was pretty. But Ghost in the Shell, I think, and this is a real testament to the writing of both the manga and the anime, you got it. Even as a 14-year-old, as a 15-year-old, it was accessible, it was understandable, she was hot, a cartoon character, and you got it, right? And I think that made, for me, Ghost in the Shell was my entry into anime, manga, and all of that stuff. And I think it was a very easy access point. Because it was so accessible. And for me, so it was my first, essentially, and you never really get away with that. So, yeah, that was my initial experience with Ghost in the Shell. Standalone Complex, I only watched recently because I skipped out on it. If only because I just never wanted to ruin the memory of how good the original was. And it had, and then Ian was going on about how brilliant it is. And and so I recently bought the mangas as well, and saw the series, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, the original still stands apart in my mind. I don't know if the mic is on. Can you hear me?
Can everyone hear us?
Testing.
Can everyone hear us?
Oh, we need to speak longer.
On and off.
Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Now he's just
Testing.
that's better.
My gateway drug to Ghost in the Shell was Standalone Complex. I was already watching anime before that, but when I first saw Standalone Complex, it really transformed how I viewed anime as a medium. Because before that, you have your Naruto's and whatever, as a teenager you watch all the Shonen Jump series and everything. But Ghost in the Shell really transformed how I viewed the possibilities of the medium itself. Like, especially Standalone Complex, you have all these kind of Black Mirror-esque kind of situations that it deals with, and it totally blew my mind about how it envisioned how technology would affect our lives. And I still want to be connected to the net, so I don't have to, type out my stuff, so I can watch something while driving. Yeah, I think that transformed how I viewed technology and futurism and everything.
For me, growing up in Ireland, we got a very limited view of what anime was. I think I actually started off with Nausicaa. You would see videotapes in the rental stores. I'm aging myself now. And you would see these things and they would crop up and there'd be one or two, and then a couple of years later you'd get some more. I think it was actually Project AKO was one of the first ones I saw, and that was VHS. And then Akira was late night Channel 4, where you're like, what is this? And Ghost in the Shell was the first one where it was like, okay, this is actually, there's a plot here, there's technology ideas, philosophy. I'm sure there's probably theses on the philosophy of Project AKO, but it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I'm not 100% sure on that. When I got over here first in 2006, I think I used to not go to Petaling Street, but I'd pick up the local DVDs. One of the ones I watched all the way through was Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, and I just loved the way that took. It left all the philosophical bits to the side almost, and just went with, let's do a procedural, but with talking cute tanks and people ripping their arms off and all sorts of crazy stuff. And I just thought that was because it is an interesting idea, and it's a world where it's so different.
Rise is another alternate
one, yeah. So we keep going back to that well because it's a very interesting one to visit.
All right. We'll getting another mic back soon, but we'll manage somehow. Just to set the scene, if we say anything which relates to the 1995 movie, it's fine, right? Everyone has seen it, it's not spoilery. Yeah? Okay, alright. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show a video which does a comparison between what's shown or what's seen in the new movie and the old 1995 and Standalone Complex and other scenes, okay? So, let's do that comparison video, and video man, please, play.
Major, I'm on site. I'm going in.
You are the first of your kind, but you're not invulnerable.
Maybe next time you can design me better. Everyone around me, they feel connected to something. Connected to something I'm not.
What are you? You were dying. We saved you. And to save others.
Words from violence, brave blood silence. I never once
I remember to trust.
I trust when you're right.
You know I have a past. I'll find out who I was.
Everything they told you was a lie.
Who are you?
They did not save your life. They stole it.
So, looking very familiar, isn't it? Thanks to the guys who stitched that comparison video together. It's based on, I think, one of the earlier trailers of this new movie, which is about 4 months ago. And for you all, you know, I just see a lot of raised hands just now who covers all the series. You have seen very familiar scenes from the anime being translated into the live-action movie. So it begs the question, this trailer really seems to sell itself adapting scenes from the original anime into live action, right down to what looks like the set design, the costumes, and the camera angle. While it looks like it's very much fan service, is this what fans really want to see? Do you all basically want to see the same thing made into live action? Or do you want to see something new? Well, how about some opinions? Until we get the second mic, we're just going to pass this down left to right. And hopefully that works. Thank you.
So, you've got a story about Rupert giving an interview about this with the Sanders. I'll let you tell that story. For me, I guess I don't know what you guys like. There are two kinds of fans, right? There are the fans who are absolutely in love and obsessed with a particular piece of work that any rendition of it will become. So whether it's Star Wars, Ghostbusters, Star Trek, whatever, right? And then there are the other kinds of fans, which I think I fall into this category, which is essentially, if I am in love with a world and something that someone created, I want to keep going back into that world. So whether it's in the comics or cartoons or movies, and as long as it's well executed, I'm happy. As long as it's not a crap, right? And so I think it really depends what kind of fan you are. So when I watch that and when I watch the original trailers, I think for me, I was excited to go back into this world. Also because it's the same with comic book movies that we get now. Because I think growing up and watching these things on television and reading the comic books, in your brain you always felt that you would love to see a live-action version of it. And I think that's why at the end of Avengers Age of Ultron, has everyone seen the second Avengers movie? Yeah, okay. So that great scene where the camera's panning around and, you know, they're all taking on Ultron together. You know the scene I'm talking about, right? And for me, you know, that scene is straight out of the family story.
There was a lot of phlegm had to come out before I coughed myself to death and disrupt the panel.
The opportunity to actually be a part of this has been massive.
Yeah. Ian, would you like to follow on from there?
Well, yeah, when it came to the imagery, I was going to say that we did an interview with Geek where he talked about when Steven Spielberg asked him to do it, he took screen grabs from the first film, standalone contracts, and the second film, put them together into his own graphic novel, and then wrote the story around that. Correct, about the first one, I didn't like it until I saw it on the big screen, and it just shows how well they did their job. And that the first time I saw it, I was like, they've just done the first movie. This is like, what's the point? And it was only afterwards, because your memory plays tricks on you. I forgot that the geishas were in Innocence. I forgot a whole load of other things. Whereas in my mind, it was fan service and giving it something, a new spin, I think is what they really need to do. With the credit sequence, right? You watch it every year, I don't know.
Just to add on to that, actually, we spoke to Pete, who was in the movie, right? So Pete's Malaysian, if you don't know, he's cast in the film. He's got about 2.5 minutes, which is very, very cool.
Very sweaty.
Very, very sweaty looking in the film. But he was talking about the shooting process in Auckland, when they shot it. And this was quite cool, talking about how faithful they wanted to be to the anime. He said, one day he was just walking around set and watching them shoot different scenes, and he came upon the lighting rig, and the lighting engineer was doing some cool stuff, and he was like, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, well, Rupert asked us to sample all of the colors from the anime, and we have fed it into our lighting rig system. So when we press a button and he can go, I want it to look like that scene, all the lights will make the scene look like that color. So it didn't have to be done in post. Everything was done on set, and the amount of attention to detail they paid to every element was quite impressive.
Okay, thanks guys. Well, we'd like to give the opportunity to hear from some of you. Would any of you like to say a few words on your opinion on this live action adaptation?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Anybody like to pose any questions to our panelists? Opinions? You know, that's why I asked everyone to sit in front so I can give you the mic closer. Yeah, you all got the right idea. Alright, I mean, we will open up opportunities for questions in a few parts. If you'd like, please raise your hand and I'll come over with the mic. So for now, no? Okay. Let's carry on. So, the next video, please. Okay? For you guys who may have been following the promotional blitz for the movie, and there's almost a new video or two every day now, well, at least I noticed that Scarlett Johansson's character always seems to be referred to as the Major, not Motoko Kusanagi, which is, is the main protagonist of the anime series. So, I mean, that being the case, does it come to mind that maybe Scarlett's Major is not Motoko Kusanagi, so why all this outrage about whitewashing? Does any of you like to say something about that?
The issue of whitewashing comes up because they're taking the setting wholesale. It seems like it's set in Tokyo. Some of the other characters are Japanese, like the bosses, Aramaki is still Japanese. He's shown speaking Japanese in some of the trailers as well. Basically the design of Scarlett Johansson's Major looks exactly like Motoko Kusanagi. They didn't come up with a new design for a new character. It heavily looks like the Major. So if the case is that it's set in Japan, some of the characters are Japanese, and Scarlett Johansson looks like Motoko Kusanagi. So is there any real difference if they just don't put her name as Motoko Kusanagi? It feels like just smoke and mirrors to me.
So Ian and I can answer this question because we've seen the movie. So we'll wait for you guys to watch the movie. But we will say this, right? So for me, the whitewashing debate is very interesting because I think when Americans talk about whitewashing, they come at it from very different baggage, as in cultural baggage, right? I mean, there's disenfranchisement of, say, Asian American stars and all of these things. Meanwhile, the Japanese, because they don't get it, right? The Japanese are like, oh, I don't understand what's going on. And Mamoru Oshii recently released a statement to that effect as well. And I think the Japanese don't come from the same, because they're a monolithic society and they're all Japanese, they don't necessarily have the same cultural conflicts. I think it's quite different here as well in Malaysia when we watch it. So I look at it, when I was growing up and I watched these things, I speak to my friends in America and they talk about the disconnect they had if they were a person of color and just watching white people on television all the time. And my experience growing up in Malaysia, watching anime, watching American stuff, watching British stuff, I never had that disconnect because we didn't have anything similar. So for me, all of that stuff was important. And so I was just like, yeah, there's nothing like it in Malaysia. So I'm just like, whatever lah, I can be Spider-Man, I can be a Japanese character, I can whatever, because we don't have anything to compare it with. And so I think I grew up with very different baggage when it comes to things like that. So the whitewashing thing, yeah, I can understand from an American perspective, and I can also understand why the Japanese don't get it. Or the Japanese are like, what's the big deal, right? Yeah. And of course, Ian and I were talking about this as well. And when you watch the movie, you'll see this, because we were like, I don't think there's any Hollywood person other than Scarlett Johansson right now that can pull financing for a $150 million movie. I don't think there's another woman that can do it.
The only other ones I think I was looking into this is Jennifer Lawrence and Melissa McCarthy. And as much as I'd love to see Melissa McCarthy running around in that suit and beating people up, unfortunately, I don't think mainstream American audiences will go for it.
Yeah.
This is what this is. This is introducing the world of Ghost in the Shell to your multiplex audiences, not this one, but other multiplex audiences who would never seek out the anime and would never get that idea. And for that, you have to get Scarlett Johansson to do that. She's the only one who can carry the film with that after the success of Lucy.
Yeah.
I disagree, because there's been tons of research done on this, and it's always been shown that characters who are diverse in movies tend to get better, tend to perform better actually. So there's been this myth going around that only someone white and famous can pull off a movie, but you know that hasn't failed other movies who have. Do have.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But I'm talking about Hollywood financiers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's been proven, right? That actually, just the statistics were just released that apparently Asian Americans, I think, per capita spending in the United States, they go to the cinema more than any other minority or something like that. And that statistic was just out in Forbes the other day. No, totally. But Hollywood financiers are still old-fashioned. And I think if you had cast someone like, I don't know, Maggie Q, or...
You remember the number from the Lucy?
Yeah, 400, so Lucy, which...
It's not a great movie.
You liked it, right? I thought it was pretty average. 487 million at the box office.
Primarily because of Scarlett.
Yeah.
So it's not a consumer problem?
No, it's a Hollywood financing problem. Yeah.
Let's just hear what the origin director, Mamoru Oshii, has to say about it from the 1905 anime. Video, please.
We'll leave that one for...
Hello? Yeah, we'll leave that one for another panel. So let's end of the year. Okay.
We're talking about the Rogue One
Does anyone here
alternate
like
ending.
to say anything about or share their opinions on, Scarlett as Major? Anyone?
It's on.
Hello. Okay, this is my opinion. When you say adaptation, it doesn't have to mean that the movie has to be exactly the same. That's why when you mentioned that Major is not in the movie is not gonna be Makoto, it totally makes sense because where it is a live action adaptation, it's not an exact equal movie. So that's my take on that.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything to say? Or we still have more open time for questions or anything you might want to share later. Let's move on a bit. Can we have the next video? My stock prices will be, plunging now. Let's get on to section 9. So here's the other members of section 9. We have from left to right, Hilo Ashbeck as Bato, Takashi Kinato as Section Chief Daisuke Aramaki, Shinhan as Tugusa, and Lazarus Rathore, I think I pronounced it correctly, as Ishikawa. So, if you all haven't noticed, the setting is, I believe, Hong Kong. It's not in Japan. So that's another
The first one's not set
different.
was it? They never say it's actually
Yeah,
set.
yeah. I think with when it's see the Japanese characters on that, you kind of assume it is. And here you see Chinese characters.
It's a bit ambiguous.
Yeah.
Like they don't even name Hong Kong. It was
Yeah.
shot. Yeah, so the street shots are shot in Hong Kong, but they don't actually name it.
Oh, it's like basically also Wellington and Auckland made to look like Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was filmed in New Zealand. Oh, a little bit gossip about this. I can't verify this, but I was in New Zealand about last month, and I was on a tour, and the tour guide saying, "Oh yeah, we had Scarlett over for about a month, and what they did is they rented a house, and basically the owner of the house moved out to make way for her to stay for a month, but then she kind of felt that it wasn't very comfortable, so she stayed at a hotel instead." Sorry, gossip. Anyway, let's get back to the other members of Section 9. I think how do they contribute towards this movie and, sorry, the overall feel of it being Ghost in the Shell? Uma?
Pete Takeshi is just cool. I love him. He's awesome. I think the reason I can't verify this as well. I think the reason they just got him to speak Japanese in the film is because he can't do English.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just went on like, you know what, just speak Japanese lah, and everyone will understand you in the movie context. Right? But I do have a bit of gossip for you, and this one is from Pete Takeshi. Apparently, he can't memorize lines. Like till now, till today. I mean, he's such an established actor, but he still has cue cards. So like they'll be shooting a scene, and he just has cue cards in the back. So there's a bit of insider information on how he does his job. But yeah, I think the guy who plays Batu, I can't remember the actor's name, Pilo Asbeck. I think Pilo Asbeck does a great job, and he's massive, and
he's a lot smaller than the publicity material.
yeah, and also because Scarlett Johansson's so small, I think that dynamic is really, really cool because it plays off almost like what you see in the anime.
Does he get his eyes though? Like he has normal eyes in this.
What did Sila? What are you?
Yeah, you'll know in half an hour.
Well, I'm not sure how much I can judge because I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I'm not going to say much, but I hope they can live up to the characters. I think Pilo Asbeck really looks like Bato. He has that build, the hair, the look, everything. It's really quite uncanny. I think I'm not sure if they can find even better. I'm not so on the rest.
You want Aramaki's hair, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Aramaki's hair.
Signature.
Yeah, you want
It's nothing like that.
Aramaki's hair is iconic. You need to have that little bald, oval shape in the middle.
Fukusa looks a bit too
No, but you get
old.
used to it. I mean, you know,
The one without the
Hugh Jackman
cybernetic.
can't exactly have Wolverine hair,
Also
right?
supposed
And
to
we
be
got used to that.
younger detective, but
Yeah,
here
but,
looks
you know,
very old,
I'll withhold judgment.
even for
I can't
Japanese,
comment much.
very old Japanese.
Visually, I think they do manage to nail all of them. Unfortunately, the movie is only so long, so there are one or two characters that don't get quite as much as you would like. But that's, I mean, we've had standalone complex, we've filled in nearly every character's background, so you're always going to get a little bit of that. They also introduced a new member of Section 9 who's not in previous materials, so that's interesting, and it's interesting when they'll take that in the future.
So do they have every single character from Section 9 that is in the standalone complex series?
No.
I hope the sniper guy and the knife guy is there.
Because there's the sniper
It's
guy,
not
there's one of the
Tachikoma.
guys in there. I
Yeah.
get confused. It's been a while since I watched it.
The sniper guy is Saito.
And of course another big Batu, the bigger version of Batu.
The problem is the
Forgot
focus
the name.
the
It
focus
doesn't
is all on these
it doesn't talk a lot.
So there are people who come
Focus
in.
is on this one.
Yeah, the focus is all on these four. There are other side characters like the new one that was introduced. I don't know where she's from, but they kind of come and go, and it's just very brief. But yeah, she sounds like she's from London. Yeah.
Can we just have the next slide? So yeah, look out for this guy, a local Malaysian actor, writer, songwriter, singer, Pitio. He plays a character named Tony. I think Uma and Ian said he has like 2.5 minutes or so.
No, I don't
somewhere.
know him.
I believe he's not under tons of prosthetic makeup, so hopefully you can recognize him. And yeah, and he comes. Does anybody want to?
We had the pleasure of sitting beside Pete watching it, where for his first time he hadn't seen it, so he was wondering whether he should do any publicity because he might not be in the movie. So he's very recognizable. Apparently, he said it took him 3 hours of makeup every day, and when we saw the film, it looks like he just is very sweaty. So he's a very creepy, very nasty-looking guy.
We were really actually hoping to get PTO here on this panel, but unfortunately right on this day he's shooting outstation somewhere, so we can't have it right here. And maybe we would hear from him sometime later when the movie is out and he can talk about it. Yeah. Okay.
When he comes to my show.
Okay.
I'm trying to get him on the show. So when he's free, I'm going to go down to his house in Bandar and do a recording with him there. But he has a ton of great stories about shooting a Hollywood film. I think it's his first experience in this kind of $120, $150 million movie. And for me, I think, however the movie turns out, I think what I felt most fascinating is still the professionalism and the amount of detail that was in the shooting of the film. So he tells me that he was there for a month as well, for a 2.5-minute scene. But and I'm sure that's why these Hollywood movies cost so much money and so inflated. But he was saying that for almost 2.5, 3 weeks, all they did every day was just put him in makeup, test, looking for the right look. And every day it was just a different look, until the director was happy with, okay, that's how your character looks. It's a new character, he's not in any of the animes or mangas or anything like that, but 3.5 weeks just to perfect the look, it's like crazy. But it's kind of cool, the amount of attention they pay to these things.
Well, that was a good little insight into Hollywood. Yeah, no one will spend that much money here. Not even for premieres. Okay, how are we for time? Jared, are you in here?
Yeah, I'm here. Right here.
Are you a possibility?
Everyone seems to be around.
Okay. I think we have time for one more video, and really, this one's for the cosplayers. Can we play it now? It goes on for 6 minutes, and it's really for cosplayers to really geek out over. And from a cosplayer perspective, it's like, oh, that's how they did. Wow, magnets! It's like, yeah, all the tricks. But we don't have $100,000 to spend on that. So yes, cosplay on a budget, but get ideas.
Cosplay.
Oh yeah, okay. So
bodysuit.
I so happened to have visited Retail Workshop last month, and I got this nice full body photo of 1/4 scale limited edition statue of Major. So you can see the costume in the 3D with all that glory and exquisite lighting. Anyway, obviously she needs a costume, alright? You really can't follow what's going on in the anime, not with a PG rating anyway. So what do you all think about, okay, it's a thermorphic suit, yeah? It's white, it was black, everyone just thinks it's Black Widow, so yeah. What do you all think? Is it a nice aesthetic feel for the character and the costume?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Obviously, you can't have the media
naked.
Go around.
Yes, naked.
Yeah, naked like in the series or the movies. So I think this is a very good compromise. It makes more sense as well. I mean, you have some sort of armor, something to protect her as well, while she does her action scenes and everything. I think it's very well done. Like the cosplay scene, the magnets and everything. They really put a lot of attention to detail into it. I watched the full video. It's really amazing what they've done. Yeah, I think it's a great way of portraying the Major.
I mean, it still doesn't answer the question of how her hair goes.
Her hair is fake.
Synthetic.
It already does that. No, I think aesthetically, I'm feeling you guys will be very impressed. I think it looks brilliant on screen. And the extended fight sequences, we get a hint of it in the trailers. The one in the shallow water, when she jumps off the roof, you see a bit of it in the trailer. All of that is, I think, executed really, really well. And
if they're trying, I mean, if his objective was to pay homage to the original, yeah, he does it superbly well.
Okay, thanks guys. I think we have time for maybe one or two questions from the audience. Would anybody like to raise any questions to the panelists or share some of your thoughts? But please, if you want to talk about how Ghost in the Shell saved your life and rant on it for 10 minutes, please save it for Facebook. We don't have that much time. Yeah, does anybody have anything to say? Come, I can run them straight up.
Okay, Shaz. Just intro yourself.
Hi, I'm Shaz from Clones. Ghost in the Shell is like a dream come true for all of us who are fans. But just like any other adaptation, I'm coming into this movie as though we are not going to get so hyped over how it's going to be better than the original source. You know, you can't beat the original source. So it's going to be at best half-baked of the original source, if they can manage that. But other than visual aside, in this era, all the 3D cinematics, CGI, of course, they are all top-notch. I guess it's supposed we are looking at whether they go beyond the original source, because just like Michael Bay from Transformers, they go beyond the original source. Like Power Rangers. You know, sometimes you want that original where, keep it to the original, not go beyond like Alien or things like that. But Ghost in the Shell managed to keep that flavor, that concept. I guess it goes down to acting and story. So let's hope it's a successful movie so that we get a sequel. All the best to Ghost in the Shell.
Hey, thank you, Charles. Does anyone up here have anything to say? What? Somebody? Anyone? Oh, okay, I look like somebody is looking at me, which means you want the mic. Oh, okay. Anyone else with thoughts to share? Questions to the panelists? Oh, okay, the statue just now. That's from Weta Workshop. Limited edition of 500. USD 449, 700 New Zealand dollars before shipping. Huh? Oh, I think it's open from the website. There's also a geisha statue that goes with that. I think the face pops out as well.
Wow. Can we alter your face?
You watch the movie first. Okay, last one please. Huh?
One quick question. Our Malaysian actor, did he actually got punched on the set? Because he posted, I read this article this morning.
Yeah. Trying to get punched in the face by Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, I think an interview with him at the start this morning that was printed. Yeah, he stood up. Let's see, this is actually all from Scarlett.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you to our panelists. Could you all give them a big hand?
Many of you are old enough here to have seen anime dubbed in VM on RTM and TV3. That's how all of us started. Exactly. And how many of you are actually waiting for that eventual live-action Macross movie?
Really? No, don't screw it up.
I do not want to see any of you
transform in real life.
Okay, we just get a photo? Nigel?
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, we also get one. And maybe we just get one more in front of everyone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you scroll down.
Yep, scroll down or just stand?
Yeah.
Look at Shirow.
Actually, it's going to get out of a bar.
Okay, oh. Great.
I see one Itoko up there wearing blue.
Okay, thank you everyone. I'm handing over to Fiesta now for the cosplay competition segment. Okay, thank you very much. You've been a great audience. We'd like to do this some more. I hope you enjoyed the panel, and if you do, come by for the next one. We are looking to, do other geeky stuff too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Give them another round of applause, eh? You guys are great.
And in the end,
no spoiler! Quickest way to die in a movie screen. Alright. Thanks. Alright. Evening everybody, my name is Jared, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to be wasting your time.
Dance.
Alright, okay, before we do anything else, some of you guys are in here already. I have a quick question. How many of you guys did not get your posters? Can I have a quick show of hands? Alright, so what I'm going to do is that in case some of you guys didn't realize or it's not told to you earlier, if you were one of the first 50 to come in, you do get posters. We get a whole bunch of them, but we have some extras. And I would like to give it to some of you guys here. So who want a poster? Raise up higher. Alright, so how I'm going to do this is, I'm going to ask my friend here, Aizen. Say hi everybody. Aizen. Do me a favor, say hi Aizen. Hi. Thank you. Alright, so how it's going to work is that I want you guys to do me a favor. I'm going to turn my back. I'm going to ask Aizen, right, to pass it along, like how many rows back, and either to my left, to my right, or to my center, alright? So what I want to do is, instead I raise my hand, I want you guys to make noise. I will point to the parts that is the noisiest, and if I hear it, if I hear it well enough, that's where Aizen is going to go, alright? So yeah, just help me move it along, alright? Just give me a quick shout, alright?
Hi, Jared!
Hold on, wait for the signal, alright? I know you guys are all super excited. Come on, ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, Aizen, I hear mid-row 4th. Mid-center area 4th row. Yeah, that sounds about right. Could you? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure. Any of you, if you guys got it already, just pass it on to the guy next to you or something like that. If you guys are not getting it, it's Aizen's fault, by the way. Why? Alright, let's try that again, alright?
Scream louder!
Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've got one on this side, second row, center. Yeah, from the front. Alright, so I'm going to give one more last one out. Aizen, sorry, I'm going to trouble you one more time. Just so you know, this is actually one of the best ways to keep fit. Volunteering for Comic Fiesta, we care about your health.
Why?
Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Not this way.
I got this one. Once again, center. Third, 4th row center. I'll leave it to you. Alright, guys. Okay, as you may or may not know, we actually have a costume contest going around today, and some of you guys did show up in costume. Some of you guys may or may not have registered. I really, frankly, don't mind if you did not register prior to this, but if you'd be so kind, as all people who showed up in costume, to just step up forward, please.